segment will be great too.
Absolutely.
We have with us today, and we're very honored to have him here for the third time.
Is it the third time?
It's the third time.
Wow.
It's the third time.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we're honored to have him here for the third time, the superintendent of Newark Public Schools, the first superintendent to be appointed under a democratically elected Board of Education. The first one in 19 years.
23.
No,
Whoa, 23.
I was going to say that 23 years, brother.
Wow, first
All right.
one in 23 years.
Absolutely. So let's give our brother a strong round of applause, y'all. For real, our good brother Roger Leone is in the building. What's good, my brother?
Alrighty. We're extremely excited and honored to be on tonight, so
Absolutely.
we appreciate this opportunity.
Oh, anytime, big brother, anytime. So let's get right down to it. I mean, like I said, we had a
School year starting.
Yeah, we had a very powerful thing. School year starting, and so we want to get into it. We don't take any more time. All right, right, John.
Right.
John's been warning me.
I'm just saying.
Bash.
Right. Let the superintendent is here. School's starting.
Yes.
He has stuff to say.
Absolutely.
Welcome for the new year.
All right, we appreciate it. A lot of work to do. We've accomplished a lot. We had an absolutely incredible year. A lot of people need to be really, really proud of the work that has occurred by not only our board, but our staff and all of our students, and obviously the great assist by the parents of the children in our school system and those who worry about the kids in Newark.
Right. So what's going on? Like, there's a new school year. You are starting a new school year. There's a big convocation coming up. What's up? What's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, I want to share a little bit about what happened as the school year ended.
Okay.
So we had, I gave, if you remember, Newark's Academic Challenge for Kids. This is a task that I've given all of the students in the high schools by grade. I challenged the seniors at the start of the year when I met with them in September at the Prudential Arena. And of the 2,400 students that are in that senior class,
right,
approximately 2,000 of the students met the challenge.
Wow. So
Absolutely incredible.
What was this challenge?
Well, obviously, the challenge started with the freshman class. So I'm going to have them, obviously, for 4 years. I'm the freshman superintendent, so they received the biggest challenge, and they have 4 years to accomplish it. Actually, by January of 2023 is when they actually have to accomplish their challenge. As it relates to January 2022. So the seniors only had a year.
And the year from the convocation. Like last year, there was a convocation.
That's right.
And you met with every senior in the city.
That's right.
And you issued every senior a challenge, of which 2,000 of them, 2,000 out of 2,400 met. What was that challenge?
So they obviously needed to be focusing on their academics, so there was a GPA requirement. There were meetings that we were going to have during the course of the year. Like on Monday, all seniors are required to be in school on August 26th, 9 a.m. Every senior in the class of 2020 is required to come back to school in the morning. In the afternoon, all of the juniors are required. On Friday the 30th, all sophomores are required at 9 a.m.
Wow.
And all freshmen are required at 1 p.m. At every single one of our high schools in Newark, all of our students in high school must come and attend high school before the first day of school. And the strategy behind this is that we know that the first day of school is September 3rd.
Right.
What we actually need is our students to be clearly aware of that across all of the grades. And what we're imposing on our high school students is that in order for them to be ready on the first day, they actually have to arrive days before.
Now, this seems to be like a theme that I recognize from you in terms of making sure kids are actually there in school. Because I think there was a study that you actually either commissioned or that helped do years ago that said one of the chief indicators of student success is being there.
Absolutely. So our students, need to be in school and need to be in school on time and need to be in school every day. So we know that the students who attend school do far better than the students who aren't in school.
Right.
So attendance was a really big problem that we still have, just to keep it honest. But it was a real serious problem as I was getting ready for my first year. And I'm extremely excited. On the 27th at the teacher convocation, the district staff convocation for 2019, I am just extremely excited to share what the attendance was all last year. Our students, our parents, Our staff members, whether it's a teacher or custodial worker, was actually working really, really hard, as well as our principals, to make sure that students were coming to school. And they came in record numbers. Last school year alone, we had thousands of students more in attendance than the year prior.
Wow.
I was going to share, because it's going to be breaking news on Tuesday. I was going to share a little bit. All I can say right now is thousands more students came to school last school year than the year before. Our attendance the last school year was really, really good, on the path to actually being really, really great. And, a number of things that we did. We had our Give Me 5 campaign, where I assigned 5 students to every employee in the district. And every employee was supposed to call the student's parent before the start of school to let them know, hey, this is the first day of school.
Right.
Oh, we're going to do that again, because I think that it worked really well. And a big shout out, obviously, to our staff for assuming that responsibility.
And it's creating community, right? Like one of the things that I think that we're missing, my opinion, in terms of the administrations previously, was a sense of community among parents and teachers and students, right? Like we care, right? And I think that you call 5 kids, just 5 kids, before the first day of school, connect with those parents and we want you to be here. I mean, it sounds small, but it seems big.
One of the things that was extremely impactful about the activity was that students were receiving calls from teachers that they will never meet.
Right.
That's right.
So
That's
all
right.
of our employees, over 6,000 employees, were calling parents of kids who may not have necessarily been in their school.
That's right.
Or even in their classrooms. So that did do exactly that. It said, I'm a teacher in the North Ward, and I worry about students in the South Ward. I'm a teacher in the West Ward, and I worry about kids in the East Ward. Keeping everyone focused and centered. This whole sense of community is extremely important, because everybody who works in the Newark schools must worry about all of the children that are in our city. That's the only way that we can actually work collaboratively with our elected officials, in particular our mayor, to make our city far better than it has ever been. And we are at that point. We are poised, we are ready, and we are doing things right now in our city that are distinguishing it in very positive ways. Not only is the city doing that, but our job in the schools is to create a better citizen so that they continue to make our city yet just as great.
And I think that's another thing with when you said our job is to create a better citizen, not necessarily a better worker, but a better citizen, a better person who cares about community.
Yeah, I mean, we know that school systems are judged by how students perform on tests. And, I don't know the total number of students that listen to this, but I know that there are many parents that listen to this. If you're a citizen of Newark, you've already passed the hardest test, being a citizen in Newark. Part of what our responsibility in this great city is to distinguish ourselves so that everyone understands how, in fact, great our city can be. Yes, we're going to be judged by a test, but ultimately, we're going to do so well because our teachers are going to have all of the necessary resources, all of the materials that they need, so that the students learn how to just be better people. See, what a lot of people don't understand is that, while we're responsible for educating children, that there's a bigger cause in public education. Our responsibility in public schools is to actually educate the public. While we actually have students that we worry about, there's an entire community outside of our schools, outside of our city, that we are in fact responsible for educating. There are great things happening in our city. There are great opportunities for our students to take advantage of, and the school system is the vehicle towards making that happen.
Oh, that's excellent. So, Bashir, do you want to jump in, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, well, I mean, you were letting me kind of just start by saying how the year finished. I have to tell you this.
Yes.
So the seniors that graduated, the class of 2019, we've already reported this out, and I just wanted to share it with your audience.
Right.
$45 million in college scholarships.
Awesome.
Class of 2019.
$45 million?
$45 million, not $45. not $45,000, but I'm talking about
Right.
$45 million. That a parent of any of those seniors does not have to not worry, because all parents must always worry about
Right.
their children, but they do not have to worry about what are the fees for anything related to where their children will actually go into school. You know, who did that? Well, obviously, parents at home worrying about their children made that happen. The teaching staff members, the guidance counselors, making sure that the students applied for these scholarships. Any teacher who wrote a personal statement.
Right.
Oh, and then let's see who else.
Recommendations.
Oh, you know who else? The actual students that we have in our schools. They worked really, really hard and should be extremely proud. If you're a child who actually graduated in the class of 2019, you should be walking around this city with your head up high because you actually saved your parents so much money towards taking care of the tuition for college.
Wow.
So that kind of ends what we did in the year.
That's dope. that is dope. That's hot. I'm sorry, John. You
Well, I was gonna say then. Well, before you
Yeah.
get into it,
Yeah.
what's up for new, right?
Well, let me tell you.
because I think that you said you're gonna hit the ground running.
Let me tell you.
And I mean,
I'm not a track star,
you're
but I'm
running.
running.
You
I'm
run.
not a
I mean,
track
it
star,
is
but I'm
running.
So,
absolutely.
we can't wait. This is what our community needs to understand, that if we're going to better the school system, and we know that that's extremely important because we're educating the public as a result of that, we can't wait until the start of school. So work started before September 3rd. September 3rd is the first day of school. All students must be in the school to school on time. But I just shared that all high school students have to be in school before the first day of school. Why? That's sending a message to our students that in order to appear, you have to be prepared.
Right.
And so part of the work is extremely important on all of our parts. So what did we do this summer? We started with our 5-year-olds. With our
5-year-olds?
Yes. Let me tell you, all of the students that were in this pilot were 5-year-old students.
Okay.
So they were 4 years old, going to turn 5 by the time school started, or they were 5 years old, actually right now, and entering into kindergarten in September. So we called it a K-Ready kindergarten boot camp. That was for 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds who are now going to enter kindergarten from preschool or from wherever a daycare program, or if they weren't involved in pre-K at all. They were actually invited, if they're in one of the 5 schools in each of the wards, to actually be in this kindergarten readiness program so that our students could be, in fact, ready starting in kindergarten for this coming school year.
So you really went pre-K.
Oh, yeah. So we went to the babies that are in pre-K. Let me tell you, there's really, really important work that's occurring with our 3- and 4-year-olds, not only in our schools, but in our providers as well.
Wait, and many people don't know this, that in the Newark public school system, 3- and 4-year-olds are also within the public schools.
It's extremely important for anyone listening and anyone who knows someone who is 3 and or 4 years old, that in Newark, you are supposed to be in school. In other cities outside of the city of Newark, obviously, that's also occurring. And we know that there's extremely important work occurring in our state to actually require a pre-kindergarten throughout the state, which is an absolutely incredible thing to do. I find it to be extremely important to actually capture our students prior to the years that they've traditionally enrolled in schools. We've had pre-K program for years. Our early childhood provider sites, which every single one of our wards are places where our students, if they're not enrolling in our pre-K program in our schools, they should be enrolling in the provider sites, providing children at the age of 3 incredible opportunities all throughout our city. Ultimately, that's the work that we were doing with the young ones.
Okay.
So then what we did is at NJIT during the summer, we offered a math success initiative, which was we identified a group of students from Science High School, Technology High School, Central High School, and Malcolm X Shabazz High School. And we engaged them in day-long, weeks-long math courses, high-level college math courses with college professors from NJIT.
Wow.
It was absolutely such an incredible experience. Upon my visit, as the program was ending, I was so impressed with our students and the staff members that we had that were actually a part of the program. So the program was three parts. There were college professors working with our high school students, and then those same professors were actually working and doing professional development opportunities for our teaching staff members.
So so actual teaching staff members were there during that time as well.
That's right. And so in some instances, the staff members were working with our students and those college professors. And in other instances, the students were only working with the college professors, or the teachers were working with the college professors directly, getting professional development. Let me tell you, I was so impressed with our teaching staff members and our students that I was compelled to ask the board to adopt a resolution that they approved in full this past Tuesday, and they voted to make the NJIT Math Success Initiative, that was the brainchild of President Bloom of NJIT, the mayor of our great city, and myself, to actually move this program along. Angela Garrettson, vice president over at NJIT, helped spearhead it on the part of the NJIT, and it was just an absolutely incredible success. And what the board did was vote to give the students who took the course actual credit as part of their graduation requirements.
You know, some of what you just talked about, there's a lot of thinking and planning that goes into all of this when you're working with the mayor, you're working with the universities, and so it's like you're drawing the entire community of Newark to go above and beyond, because these kids on these college programs or learning these college level math, that translates into the classrooms that they have when they go back. The teachers who receive professional development. So it's not just a one-off summer program.
No, absolutely. And so, you know, one of the things that NJIT did with this program is they had college professors working with our students. That automatically changes the conversation, because our students, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but our students actually think highly of our teaching staff members.
Wow.
And ultimately, when they have a college professor, the students like, wow, they're adding up, making this even a far greater experience for us learning. What NJIT did, they did a little thing different. They actually had the college professors, and then they had college students serve as teaching assistants in those classes as well. And those teaching assistants became mentors to our high school students. So our high school students were talking with real college students about the opportunities that these advanced courses will in fact provide them if in fact they decided to choose NJIT. The idea behind the program wasn't to have students attend NJIT.
Right.
The idea behind the program, and recruitment, although they probably did a lot of that.
Right.
The idea behind the program was to take students from Newark and place them on the NJIT campus and let them know that they can actually be on a college campus because they actually were on a college campus.
Right.
Our students need to understand that it's here in our city. This is a city town, a college town. This is an absolutely incredible opportunities that are being provided at Rutgers University, Newark. There are incredible opportunities being provided at Berkeley. It's just a city that is learning that our students in Newark schools can actually thrive on these campuses as well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Listen, let me just say this. This is the All Politics Local Radio Show, the number one political hip-hop radio show in America, y'all. Listen, we have a very special guest. Newark Public School Superintendent Roger Leone is in the building right now. All right. You can call in. You can chime in. If you have any questions or comments for the superintendent, you can call at 973-353-5746. That number again is 973-353-5746. Now, Brother Leone, what was like a major challenge for you as the new, superintendent of the Newark Public Schools? It's a major one.
Well, I think that having lived here my whole entire life and attending its schools and being a teacher and a principal, that people didn't necessarily understand how great we've been. So part of what the challenge was is to demystify the fact that we don't need Big Brother or anybody else telling us what to do. That we actually can and have the people in this city that have the will to get important work done on behalf of the children of the school system. So it was more about like an enlightening for people. That was a challenge in that it's very difficult to convince people that their beliefs on beliefs, that their thoughts, that what they think is so may actually be false. That you sometimes believe the lie, right? Oh, you're not educated.
Right.
Oh, you have too many obstacles. Oh, you haven't accomplished any challenges.
Absolutely.
When it's really that, oh, it was intended to fail. And so ultimately, part of what the responsibility that I see as a superintendent is that the superintendent is supposed to say, there is a bar, well, it is set high, and that children in this city can surpass it. And that when they do, that it is the responsibility of the superintendent to not only shepherd that work, but that when children are exceeding the expectation, to then raise the bar higher.
Wow.
See, sometimes what we do is we set the bar low.
Right.
And see, this city of Newark, we don't need a bar low. We need the bar high. And the reason why we need the bar high is because we know that no one's going to rise up to a low expectation.
Right.
And so the bar is higher, not because we can't do it. The bar is higher because we can.
That's deep.
Education
Right.
comes from the level in which we push ourselves.
Right.
Education always comes from that tension between like striving to do things that we did not think we could do. Right? That's why it's a prerequisite for being educated.
It infiltrates and it further imposes a belief that is false. Our people have done great things.
Right.
We have students in Newark's schools who have been mayors.
Right.
Mayors of this city. Mayor of the most incredible city second to us, New York City.
Right.
That mayor graduated from our schools in Mayor Koch.
Right.
That's right.
The fact that we have a United States Supreme Court justice that graduated from Barringer High School.
Right.
The people don't know that.
They certainly don't.
That's why we're creating a law program there, because the law program must be there. Do you know the great talent that has graduated from Southside High School?
Yes.
We have not only incredible legislatures.
Right.
We have, former superintendent.
Right.
Our city is filled with that. University High School, where I pride myself as being its principal. Do you know the talent that has come out of there?
Right.
Not only the incredible athletes in most recent times, but who better than the three doctors? Do you know?
That's right.
And not even, and the thing is, like, it's not even the three doctors, because we generally graduate lots of doctors. We had one on last week, Karma Brown, who we both went to school with.
Yeah. I hear you. But the message that the three doctors were giving is a little interesting. Do we have students that become doctors? Absolutely. Do they become teachers? Absolutely. Do they become lawyers? Yes.
Right.
Do they become good people? Of
Absolutely.
course. But the three doctors did something completely different. In writing the pact, they said that 3 young black males from the city of Newark would come together as a pact and would not allow anything to influence their future success. They are sending a message that when our students unite, that they're focused, that they're undisturbed by reality,
That's right.
that they can in fact accomplish anything.
And we talking about the three doctors. We talking about George. We talking about Sam. We talking about Ramik. I went to school with those brothers at Seton Hall. All right, I was a couple of years ahead of them, but they were focused, brother. When they came to Seton Hall, they were focused. I didn't know. Many of us didn't know that they did make a pact at University High School to become doctors, which is incredible. It's incredible.
But it wasn't so much that they made a. It wasn't that they were making a pact to become doctors. We know that happened, right? They were just making a pact that in brotherhood, they were going to challenge each other to accomplish whatever each other's goals were.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I mean, you've been extremely successful, so I don't understand why they didn't then do the four brothers foundation. I'd accept being your brother any time, though, my brother.
Same here, brother. Same here, brother Leon. Because listen, a lot of us, man. When you became the superintendent, we were really excited about that because we had someone who came through the ranks of being a teacher. Who was an administrator, who understood, the challenges that educators and teachers and students have in the system. So we were really, really excited, brother.
But look, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the love. There's so much work that is before us in order to get this to a place where I am happy. But I will tell you this: that history is in our favor. See, I'm the 21st superintendent that this school system has had, and every single one of the superintendents that was born in Newark always left the school system when they left far better than when they received it.
Awesome.
Starting with the first superintendent in Newark was born in Newark. The most recent superintendent that we had in Newark was Dr. Marion A. Bolden.
That's right.
And let me tell you, what she was walked into is far different than what she left.
That's right.
And so ultimately, the fact that we're from here is extremely important. I believe that representation is extremely important.
And just on Marion Bolden, right? Like, she ended up seeing talent in both you and in Raz Baraka. So she ended up seeing talent in the future superintendent.
Oh, absolutely.
And the future mayor.
Not only that, so
so
her task, and this is a task that was shared by other superintendents as well, is to find the talent and actually allow the talent to shine, right? You can't be afraid of having talent around you that is going to actually glow as well and provide the type of energy that we actually need. I've created a team around me of some of the best and brightest. No one is ever perfect, but united together, we're just a strong team. A lot of the administrators that I have on my executive staff were either born in Newark, attended Newark schools, were teachers. All were teachers in Newark.
Awesome.
All were principals in Newark.
No outsiders?
Let me tell you, of course. Listen, Newark is not so big that we're so bad that we don't need help. So there are people from outside of Newark that actually have really, really good ideas to help Newark propel. See, part of our job is not to say we're only going to keep the greatness in Newark. That's why I got a superintendent in Orange Public Schools, and he's lighting the way over there. Just started a couple of weeks ago. He's no joke. He's not playing. He's a Newark baby. And we are proud of having our Newark babies in other school systems throughout our state that are distinguishing, themselves.
We are known for exporting really good administrators, like that are educated under some of our great administrators. Marion Bolden exported administrators, right? Like they were in demand. You are exporting administrators. They are in demand and going to be in demand because of what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And and I wasn't saying that we don't need outsiders. It's just that back in the day, outsiders were they were dictating to the Newark public school.
It was like the opposite, right?
Right, exactly.
If you're from Newark, you can't work here.
Exactly.
From Newark, no need to apply.
Right, exactly.
Dr. Janey, who was our superintendent starting in 2008, he taught me a very valuable lesson. He walked into the city and he said, he brought only 3 people with him. And he said that part of what his mission was to find the talent in our city. That's a very important lesson to learn because, sometimes when you're told that you can't, you might actually begin to believe it. And we can't have people like that working with our students. And we definitely can't have people shepherding the staff with a belief system that is flawed in a reality that is only true in that person's own mind. And in the end, the way that we're going to make the school system better is by everyone actually working really hard and really smart at accomplishing all of the goals that are in fact reachable. So we're creating some goals that also we're establishing an expectation beyond those goals, because the goals are things that we need to accomplish in the immediate, but they are a part of a pattern that will inevitably afford us the opportunity of accomplishing far greater things.
Awesome.
This year, like over the end of this year or the summer, there were huge shifts in administrative personnel all over the district, and you received some criticism for that. What do you have to say in terms of just like it's almost like starting new, right? Like just fresh slate.
Well, everybody can critique what they want to do. I don't have years to wait and see a mess in front of me. There are things that are still going to occur this school year that I'm not comfortable with. So part of what has to happen is that everyone needs to understand. I have to be clear with everyone as to what the expectations are of our staff. And then my job and one of my strengths is to create a system that helps provide the professional development for everyone to accomplishing that goal. But if people aren't cutting it, my background says that I don't wait and let you mess up 800 times, have you figured out. Because you know what? The children that are in our schools don't have 800 mistakes available and open to them. The parents of our students do not send students to school so that we can mess them up more.
They're only in 5th grade once.
So,
They're only in 6th
listen,
grade once. They're only in 9th grade once, right?
Only once, and it must be an absolutely incredible experience for them. So, you know, I think that the reality is that it's actions speak louder than words. I'm not saying that the schools are going to improve. I'm actually going to do something about improving them.
And you're going to do whatever it takes in order to make sure that happens.
Well, listen, you know, when I was a principal, and being a principal is definitely the second hardest job in this school system.
Okay. You're saying the second hardest job.
The second hardest job.
You're telling me the first hardest job.
Well, the first hardest job is the superintendent of school,
Okay.
just so we're clear. But ultimately, you know, it's about being honest with self. You know, I created a schedule my first year as principal, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a horrible schedule, and I changed it the very next day. I didn't allow a year to pass, and people go, oh, you know, it's a horrible schedule, and we did the horrible schedule the whole year, and then he changed it. No, we don't have that kind of time. And so I need leaders who aren't going to be afraid of taking challenges. I need leaders who are going to be clear on what we need to do to get the job done.
No doubt, no doubt. Listen,
Good councilwoman, the good councilwoman from Orange.
no doubt.
Has a question.
No, actually,
I said the good councilwoman from Orange, and everyone just was like, "Oh, it must mean Donna Williams."
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely, putting in good work in Orange, New Jersey. But we getting calls and we getting text messages, and people are chiming in on our Facebook pages. They have questions or comments to make for the superintendent. So let me just pull them up
So
real
do
quick.
the Facebook one,
All right.
do the call.
Yes, no doubt. Here's a from Anonymous. All right. Here's Anonymous.
Don't be afraid, Anonymous.
Anonymous. I'm watching via Facebook. I want to know his plan for holding supervisors of special ed accountable.
Oh my goodness, I don't know who you are, but don't be anonymous. Don't anybody be anonymous. Listen, no one needs to be afraid. You could go to churches and talk bad things. Nothing bad is going to happen to you under this administration, okay?
Right.
As it relates to this topic, extremely important. We are actually going to focus on two important facets of the organization during this whole entire year. Early childhood is one, creating early childhood centers that are awesome, and then what your question is about special education. And not only is the supervisory issue an issue, but we also need to make sure that we're creating programs that are addressing the needs of our students who are differently abled. And what we need to do is make sure that we have incredible programs and then the right staff members in the school. Sometimes the issue isn't that the supervisor is seeing it wrong, is that the whole entire scenario doesn't make sense. So we don't necessarily have the right training of staff, the right people with the expertise providing all of the supports. So when a supervisor comes in who may not also understand what to do, then they see the system not realizing its potential, and then they critique it. So in the organization, what we have to do is make sure that the supervisor knows what they're talking about, so that in your scenario they can be held accountable, and then ultimately make sure that the training of all of the staff members becomes one that is of quality, so that we have not only the right people in the right places, but getting the kind of help that they need to help the students that need us the most. If we do not focus on special education, then we cannot claim that the students that do not have an IEP are being serviced better, because the logic is this: a child with an IEP needs us more.
Right.
And if we are not helping a child who needs us more, what makes anybody think that we're taking care of the kids who don't need us as
Right.
much?
Absolutely, absolutely. John, I'm sorry.
No, you have another question?
Actually, we had a call. We're trying to get our caller. I think we have actually Marquise Akil Lewis is calling in.
What's his name? I've never heard of him.
He's calling in. Donna's trying to get it together now. But yeah, that was the question that Anonymous had, and the follow-up to that was, that some of these people that work in special needs, that they never support or come. They never support or come to the schools or give any support. They send students to schools without the school having the appropriate programs. So
Right,
this,
so
yeah.
the issue becomes, we go through an identification process, and then we need to make sure that we've identified the child's
Right.
needs properly,
Right.
and then ultimately that we actually have a program that can meet that need.
Right.
And so the whole process that occurs after the child is placed is extremely important. Making sure that the services that the child is receiving is something that we need to very well discuss with the parents as well as with their teacher. Sometimes there are clear guidelines as to what we need to do, and sometimes people in being interested in getting the services faster don't necessarily do the thorough need assessment that must occur between consulting all of the players that are involved. We need to really talk to our parents a little bit more so that we can get a better sense of what they believe their children need. They're with them longer than we are. We need to take advantage of that time to really assess what the needs are.
So
of their
a lot
children.
better communication with parents on a very individual basis.
Absolutely. Don't know the anonymous texter, but they're on point on both comments.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anonymous.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Is
Go ahead,
Mar-
John.
Well, is Marquise on?
You ready? Okay.
All right.
Hey, Marquise, are you there?
Go ahead.
Marquise, are you there? Going once, going twice. Marquise, Akil
All right,
Lewis.
we will come back when
Right.
we can get those technical difficulties.
All right, you can call me on my
Okay.
text on my cell phone.
Wait, he's still
Right.
here. He's still here.
Okay, all
Okay.
right. Marquise, are you there? Marquise, are you there? All right, there
Okay.
he is, right there. I'm sorry. Okay.
Where? Got that on my resume.
All right, Marquise, go ahead. How you doing, my brother?
No, you're not. Don't hang it up. Okay, they got
Doing great, my brother. Good to hear from you, man. Our former president of the Board of Education is chiming in, y'all. All right. That's Marquise Akil Lewis. All right. And he has, I believe, a question for the superintendent or a comment. Question?
Well, I just want to say, first I want to say that it was an honor to serve on the Board of Education. And a lot of people don't know that when I was just a kid in elementary school, I remember sitting in the audience, and Roger Leone was just, coming up as a teacher and administrator, and he gave me hope in the audience when I felt like, there was no hope for young people in this district. So my only question to Mr. Leone is, do you still got that same fire? Young people, hope when you speak to them, and what initiative do you have in place to empower the young people in the district?
Well, first of all, I thank you for the work that you did on the board, being one of the youngest ever board members to actually serve one of our own children. And you served as a really great role model, and I'm proud of you. You're a great role model for your son, and you're definitely a great role model for our students. As it relates to our students, student leadership is extremely important. So I created last year a Superintendent's Council of Students. So this is my organization. It's students meeting with me, not with anybody else, to talk about what are the issues as they see them, giving me advice as to what I need to do, what policy recommendation changes I need to be providing to the board. And let me tell you, oh my God, I am so proud and impressed
Yeah, how did
of
that work
our
last
students. It was absolutely incredible. They're responsible for changing a whole list of things that we did.
Like
Stuff that we've been doing. Oh my goodness. So there's this one kid, right now he's in college. His name is Bradley.
Bradley.
Okay, from Science Park High School.
Right.
Let me tell you, he changed so many policies, it's not even funny. You know, one of the things that he did, we adopted a civics curriculum.
Right.
Instead of waiting for somebody to figure it all out and do it a couple of years, he had talked about it in July. We had it up and running by September.
Wow.
Awesome.
Let me tell you, an awesome kid, a brilliant mind
Yes.
is he.
Yes,
So
he is.
part of what occurred were situations like that, where they were saying, these are some of the issues. They want me to review a number of policies that we have. They've added the school uniforms as a policy review that I'm actually going to be doing during the course of the year. And that reminds me, all students need to be aware that they're supposed to be wearing their uniforms starting on the first day of school.
I'm glad.
Right.
I'm glad
First day
you.
of school,
I'm glad you.
3rd
I'm,
of September. They have to wear their uniform.
I'm glad you clarified that because many students were asking, including my own children, were asking me, do we have to wear our uniforms anymore? This is a new school year.
New school year, new day.
Yeah, new day. Right.
I'm not a sheriff, but the boss said, yup. That's
Okay.
right.
Y'all
We're gonna
heard.
look the part. We're
Right.
gonna look the part. We're gonna act the part. Because
Right.
our students have a lot to learn, a lot to do, and a lot to share with the broader community
Right.
about how great and brilliant they in fact are.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying it. I'm telling you, we got to.
Well, I appreciate that. because
John, I don't know if you got all
need
those
to-
calls, but I got a whole bunch of calls and emails about it.
Oh, in
About
terms of like, do we have to wear uniforms?
Yeah, particularly at science.
Right.
Particularly at science, 'cause,
right.
you know, last year they kind of got away from that, but
Well, because you have two kids who one graduated and
Right.
the other kid who's
Right.
there.
Well, it's not so much
Right.
that, is that they actually saw the policy manual said, the policy itself said up to grade 8.
Right.
So there were
Right.
students from Science High
Yeah.
School who said to me, I'm not wearing a uniform because your policy
Yes.
doesn't
Ooh.
say.
Oh.
So I actually looked at the policy, and whoever wrote it years ago,
Right.
the kid was right. The policy doesn't say 9, 10, 11, 12. Guess what policy says that now?
Brother Superintendent, some of the students at science had this thing going online. They were they were organizing. I don't want to snitch on them, but they were like, they were.
But you're snitching on them.
But they were reviewing the. They said, well, like you said, the policy said up to grade 8. So I was like, I don't know, we could, we can use this to kind of not wear uniforms this year. So
It's something interesting
Wow.
that has
Yeah.
occurred.
They were online talking
It was
about
something
it.
interesting
Yeah.
that has occurred at the magnet high schools because of the way the admissions process
Right.
was. Some of the students are actually in the wrong school. Like all these rebel rousers and
Right.
brilliant minds
Right.
from Science Park High School. They should have been at my high school, at University High School, where I was principal.
Right,
That's we create barakas. Do you understand? That's what happens at University High School.
Right.
We imagine students
Right.
who cannot allow their realities to be subjecting them to any type of barriers.
Got it.
That's University High School is the humanities high school.
That's right.
Well, we have all these humanities kids
Right.
at Science High School.
Right.
No, Science High School, you're supposed to be like doctor and scientist
Right,
and all
right,
of that
right.
kind
Oh,
of stuff.
and debaters though. We
Right.
gotta have debaters.
Yes, absolutely.
We can't forget the debaters.
The best
Right.
debate program
In
in
the country.
New Jersey.
That's right.
Is at Science Park High School.
Right.
Obviously under the leadership of Jonathan Olson, and we're going to work really, really hard at providing debate programs not only across all of our high schools. We already have it across our middle schools. We're going to have the most incredible middle school debate program in the United States of America.
Awesome. Listen, Marquise, is he still there? Marquise?
I'm still here.
All right, brother. Listen,
He
Marquise.
only gets one question.
High school. Let's not forget about Arts High School, the best, speech team in the state of New Jersey. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah,
No
so
doubt.
we're going to make sure that it actually has a speech program.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
one of the things that has happened is that many of the incredible programs that we had across our high schools, they don't exist anymore.
Right.
So Mr. Lewis is absolutely correct. Arts High School had the most incredible speech program.
Halim
But-
Suleiman.
But Halim Suleiman, may he
Right.
rest in peace.
Ashe to our brother,
was,
man.
Ashe to him. He
yes.
was, he saw what students didn't see.
That's my brother, man.
But I'm talking about the greatness of the Barringer High School
Right.
speech program. I mean, you had Tony
On
Baskerville
Baskerville, right.
and
Yes.
Deborah Smith Gregory.
Yes.
Both of those two women,
Absolutely.
incredible
Phenomenal.
speech program
Yes.
there. So,
Right.
And
what
with
we-
Central, we have one of the best
what
speech
we're
programs in the country.
what we're doing is rebounding that. What are you talking about?
Right.
Central High School has Dennis Filbert, the most incredible speech coach probably that exists in New Jersey.
Yes.
And what he is doing with those babies at Central High School is absolutely incredible.
Awesome.
Brilliant, absolutely incredible minds that are there, and he's tapping into it with an incredible speech program.
Awesome. Our councilwoman, Donna Williams, has a question for you, brother superintendent.
Superintendent Leon, I was in the out in the outer office when you were praising Superintendent Fitzhugh, who is now our superintendent in Orange. And I had a social media gives us another opportunity to communicate. What do you say to our residents both here in Newark and now in Orange who don't have the faith in the school system? How do we re-encourage them to come back to the school system and give the schools a chance, rather than taking their dollars elsewhere?
Absolutely. So, this whole idea that we have a burden on us, superintendents in urban school districts in particular, and obviously in the conversation specifically with you, the biggest problem that we actually have is to re-enlighten people so that they spark in them a whole different belief. See, what has unfortunately happened is that time has been our enemy, and it's going to take time to actually make things a whole lot better. So all I can say to the folks in our great city who may not think that there are better days, that they can trust in the fact that there are better days now, and that there will actually be even better days to come.
Awesome.
But in Newark and in Orange, given your superintendent there, and I hired him as a teacher when I was a principal in Newark, and what I can say for my staff in Newark, that, you know, if you gamble on Leon and Fitzhugh, because we're going to flip both school systems on its head.
Awesome.
And the only people that will not be there are the people who are just reading about the incredible work that is occurring there.
Awesome.
So just great love, you know, for you, Councilwoman, for all of the work that you do. And obviously the great citizens of Orange. They have a gem in their superintendent, and I guarantee that he will overcome whatever obstacles exist there, make incredible improvements to the school system, and make the citizens of Orange glad that they pay taxes in that city.
Awesome, awesome. You know, John, we're running out of time, man.
Well, let's go.
Okay.
Because we started a little late. Let's just finish.
All right,
let's
no
just
problem.
do 10.
Okay, no problem, my brother.
Okay.
I'm gonna take your leave, big brother. All right, I got you. John is my brother, man. We brothers for a long time, best friends.
We've known each other for
long time.
for about over 20 years.
Yeah, with our brother Ed. You know, big shout out to Ed Riley, man. Listen, I read on digital media that now parents could register their children at their local schools now.
Well, isn't that scary? Imagine that.
Wait, they can actually go to their local schools and register now?
Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. I understand that this is kind of weird for a whole lot of people.
Right.
This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Something that's very should be normal
Right.
is kind of considered like, oh my goodness, can this really happen?
Or
So-
is this really going on right now?
So if you are listening, or you know of people who are interested in enrolling their children in school, please do not send them to my office, 765 Broad Street. That is our central headquarters. But there is no family support center there to address their needs. In fact, and P.S., anybody's needs will always be addressed in central office.
Right.
But it's important for you to know that if you live, whatever school is closest to you, whether you want to attend that school or not, you can go there for convenience sake and get registered in the school get enrolled in the school that you would like to attend.
So in other words, if I live next to Mount Vernon, I can go to as a parent, they can go to Mount Vernon and register at a different school.
So if you live in Ivy Hill apartment
Right.
and you want to go to Mount Vernon school, last year and the years before, you would have to come to my office. You would have to walk past almost Mount Vernon, catch the bus,
Right.
get downtown,
Right.
walk to 765 Broad Street. Who would have ever thought that was a brilliant idea?
Right.
And then we would say, yes, you can go to Mount Vernon. Now, what you do is you go across the street to Mount Vernon, and that's where you go to school.
Awesome.
You live in Bradley Court,
Right.
and you want to go to Hawkins Street School. You don't have to come to my office. You go to the school that's closest to you over there, and they will, in fact, enroll you at Hawkins Street School if that's the school you want to go to. This is supposed to always be about choice.
Right.
And who better to choose than your parent?
Go ahead. That's
Fair.
right. That's what I'm talking
Fair.
about.
You know,
Go ahead, John.
one of the things that I like
Oh, we
about
also want to thank Marquise for his comments. All right. Thank you, Marquise. Appreciate that, brother. Go ahead, John.
one of the things I appreciate about a lot of things that you said, and I think this is true about the teacher's contract as well, is that there's a real emphasis on training, a real emphasis not as much on punitive measures and firing teachers, but in training teachers and having the best ones. One of a critic of the new contract, an essayist, wrote that you were giving up many of the reforms that Cami Anderson and Chris Surf fought so hard for in the reform movement, like value-added measures and a lot of those things that would hold teachers accountable. And I had back and forth conversations on that. it's what is your response to that? And I think I kind of know where you're going.
So the Newark Teachers Union had a negotiations team, and I created the district's negotiating team. And the negotiating team negotiated. And the end result of that negotiation resulted in a contract that we all signed. The contract information sessions are occurring now with the Newark Teachers Union. And on Monday, the Newark Teachers Union members will vote on it. The only comment that I am making is that is what is occurring. After they vote, and the board, if in fact decides to approve that contract, so if the Newark Teachers Union members ratify it, and the board members approve it, then I will talk about what the contract says.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Fair enough.
So to anyone who has made any comments about what this contract says and what it means and how it's anti a superintendent or any other. This superintendent doesn't go around talking bad about other superintendents. Mm. There are some superintendents who think that that's a good thing to do. This one won't participate in that. If you think that there's anything regressive about the new contract, then all I will say to you is that you don't know how to read, because the new contract is not regressive. The new contract is historic.
That's right.
And the main reason that it's historic,
right,
and that I can comment on, is because this is the first contract under local control.
Mm.
So if you want to see progress, vote on Monday. And then on Wednesday, I'll talk to anybody. Anybody who wrote about it, anybody who keeps talking to people about it. Like one person in particular likes to talk about what the contract says. See, I'm from Newark.
Don't have to remain anonymous.
No. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. Because I'm born in Newark. I'm raised in Newark. I've attended Newark schools. I've been educated by Newark teachers who cared about me as a person, as a student, as a child.
Go ahead.
And so all of those people taught me how to read.
That's what's up. We got a bunch of questions. John.
All right,
for the superintendent.
Yes, and let's try to get them through because we only have a few more minutes.
All right.
Well, listen, we're going to have to come back and have a superintendent's forum because the people are here for him.
Yes, for real.
Okay?
Yes.
So, board member Dawn Hayes wants to let you know that she's here. Principal Kafele wants to know, I'm going to give you two questions. Principal Kafele wants to know, actually a question and a comment, what is the status of the Amistad legislation in the District of Newark? And Annette Austin wants you to know that she applaud you returning the master's level pay scale.
All right. So Vice President Haynes, you know, you are just absolutely an incredible leader. I am extremely proud of the work that you're doing, and I will work very hard to make sure that your daughters get an absolutely incredible education, as well as the children of every single person listening, as well as those who are not listening. To the incredible Kafele, let me tell you, this country doesn't have as many incredible educators as people shine light on, and not that I need to sing his praises. He does a perfectly good job of that. There's not many more persons out there brilliant than that man. Obviously, the work of the Amistad Commission is extremely important. The Honorable Payne wound up working extremely hard. We've done two things with the Amistad Commission in Newark. We first created a course all by itself, and then we immersed it in already written courses, so in like world history and U.S. history one, and neither one of those two strategies have actually worked very well for us. So we have established, in fact, a group of people that will rewrite our curriculum in social studies in a very broad way, but focusing definitely on the Amistad Commission. Our children must understand their history in order for them not to allow any leaders to attempt to repeat it. To Annette Austin, you know, we're working really hard. I think that the what happened in previous contracts is that we allowed, through negotiations in a critique, that different salary guides create different type of competitions. Creating one guide is extremely important so that we're actually organized. So moving in that direction, people need to really read what we're doing, so that they actually can understand what the goal is, and not assume that they understand that it's a repetition of the past. Our great mayor says, "Forward ever, backward never."
That's right. Famous quote from Kwame Nkrumah. All right.
Okay.
I mean, that's
I didn't know that.
I do teach a little history.
All right, that's good.
You're actually a great history teacher.
Thank you, brother superintendent. Appreciate that. Sister Donna.
I think that's the last one, but I didn't finish the next question. Do you know, or maybe this is a question for the union, since the master pay is restored, will retro pay for those who have retired be included in it?
I appreciate the question, and she should redirect that to members of the Newark Teachers Union, whether it's a representative at her school or members of the executive team. What I have purposely done, just so that we're all aware, I'm never afraid to answer any questions, but this actual contract needs to be ratified. I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize that vote. And, right now, short of saying it's the first contract upon local control is all you're all going to get out of me right now. So any questions, I'd redirect back to those folks. Awesome. And I can't wait to talk about it on Wednesday of next week.
Awesome. That's what we're talking about. John?
Well, I was just going to, wrap it up and lead to, are there final things that you want to say to kids and parents and people of Newark in terms of what we can expect this year, what you want this year, and how do you want to inspire people?
So the message is kind of not simple. The children of this city, and some of them are adults, need to understand that we will lighten through our school system the genius in all of them. We have a number of students that have not finished school. Some of our young adults have not graduated from high school. We will provide through a very, very focused attempt to make sure that all of the students that actually want to get a high school diploma, that we provide a unique opportunity for them to access that. The message is quite simple, that in order for them to be better, their schooling is extremely important. So from the young babies that are in our schools, I need them to just dream, and dream really, really big. Because the purpose of school, while it is educating the public, it is making dreams become real. My dreams are real. I'm living my dreams today. And my job as the superintendent of school is to make sure that if a little boy wants to become a doctor, that he does that. If a little girl wants to become a Supreme Court justice, that she accomplishes that. That whoever they are, regardless of what they look like, and regardless of what the realities of their homes are, if they have a single mom, if their parents were divorced, if their single mom didn't speak English, if the single mom who didn't speak English was on welfare raising three other kids, including yourself, that they need to understand that they too can become the superintendent of Newark schools. Because that is my reality, and my job is to make their realities an absolutely incredible experience.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Absolutely. And before
go ahead, John.
For everybody in the in the city of Newark, I've known the superintendent for many years since we were kids. We grew up together. He's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. He is one of the most brilliant educators I've ever met. Every program, everything that he's doing, there's a lot of there's so much thought that goes into all of this. He will stay up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, get up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, and just do all those things, right? That are needed to be done. Awesome. Working himself to death, to thinking about these things, right? And then implementing them. So Newark is in very good hands. I'm incredibly excited that we have you as superintendent of Newark Public Schools. It is. I think that when all is said and done, the entire city of Newark will recognize that history was made in an incredibly positive way.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
That's dope, John. All right. Now, look, we've had the superintendent on our show several times already, so we're not going to ask him who's his favorite,
We can have a reminder.
Yeah.
We can be like,
it's how we do it. No, I mean, it's
okay.
One of my closest aides, as we were driving here, was saying, they're going to ask you that question again. And I was very annoyed at the fact that you didn't know my answer last time.
Wow.
So first of all, y'all are supposed, all politics are local. Wow. Number one. It appears to me as though y'all might be a hip-hop imposter, because Either of the two of you. Wait. I do want to be called back. You know I love you.
Superintendent,
We love you too,
Superintendent, as you get there, and I don't know, John, we talk about, Newark this Monday is going to have some real Jersey love in the building down on Broad Street.
Oh my goodness.
I hear everything from Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, Fetty Wap. It's going to be some strong love in there. I'm just like, so.
Right.
Just what's going on in Newark, is evolving.
Absolutely.
It's just beautiful.
Absolutely. And one of the things, so VMAs on Monday.
Yes.
District staff convocation on Tuesday. Professional development real heavy on Wednesday and Thursday. And Thursday afternoon, Newark's second annual book bag rally at School Stadium on Bloomfield Avenue.
Oh, wow.
All you have to do if you need a book bag is register. It's going to have a lot of music. It's going to have not only book bags, but a lot of supplies for our students so they can start school ready before day one. So we're extremely excited of that second annual event that is sponsored by a whole host of people, our city council, our obviously Essex County, our mayor, and obviously the Board of Education here in the great city of Newark.
That's all right there. Wow, Leon, seriously?
Hip hop empire.
On the way over here.
Yeah, he was playing me out.
Oh, that's
and
what you were
And I
about?
kept saying,
Now that you being a frog out here, you don't know your hip hop?
Oh, well, look, this is what I was, because our brother been on our radio show several times.
No,
I was
last
gonna
time
say-
you made me, last year, you're like, do you know somebody Spanish? So you even went like that, like I couldn't, like,
I tell you,
like,
Wow.
let me tell you, there may be people cooler out there than me, but know this, I am a cool person.
No doubt. Absolutely. Well, look, because of all that, my brother, I was gonna say whatever what are you bumping to, when you're working on the Newark Public Schools, when you're working on just everything, working with teachers, working with parents, working with community. What music inspires you? What do you bump to? Just one artist.
I think that the answer to the question remains in the fact that when people understand that their potential has not yet been realized, that is when they understand who they can actually be. So songs that inspire, when I'm in that zone where I actually need to understand what my responsibilities are, I always focus on that. So, you got In It to Win It. That was last year's song, right?
That's right. It
Um,
was. That's right.
This Is
That's
Me.
right.
This Is Me is Tuesday's song.
Wow.
So,
Dope.
part of the whole idea of, what we need to do is to inspire, and there is no far better way of inspiring people through words, and these words in these songs symbolize a whole lot, in particular those two songs. But y'all we had people, my students last year, who were answering to you who my favorite hip hop artist is.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
but y'all, and y'all are teachers, so y'all should be able to read that stuff.
That's dope.
And I even gave y'all a clue here. I said, holla.
Listen. You know what, Brother Leon? Everybody, listen.
Not y'all.
Your memory is serious. Everyone says it. Brother Leon, he has a memory like an elephant. You can't say something, you can't do nothing without him knowing what you said and did. And this could be years ago.
That's true.
So I'm like, wow. You remember that conversation we had? Wow, when brother first came on our show.
Well, I was looking forward to
Wow.
to joining y'all again. I am the one who is grateful to all of you for the work that you're doing. This just provided an opportunity just to send a reminder, out to our community about their importance in the conversation.
Right.
And obviously, with school being a couple of weeks away,
Yes.
next week is really important with
Right.
these convocations
Right.
for our students,
Absolutely.
orientations
Right.
for the students. And obviously, the first day of school is the 3rd of September. I need all my students in school and to school on time.
No doubt.
All right.
Listen, Brother Superintendent, anytime you need to come on, the doors are always open. You don't even have to ask, my brother.
Appreciate it.
All right? But seriously, you do not have to ask at all. You just look, Brother John, Bashir, Ed, I need to come on and talk to you. All right? And it's done. All right, my brother?
Appreciate y'all.
No doubt. Appreciate you, man. Love the work you're doing, my brother. Look forward to the school year. No doubt. Absolutely.
All right,
John.
so now DJ Rhino, man, so thank you very much for coming here And DJ Rhino,
DJ
man,
Rhino,
we are ready.
DJ
Next
Rhino.
segment. So
Greatest DJ on the planet.
He's always ready.
No, greatest DJ in the universe.
In the universe.
Go
Because
DJ.
it's not just the planet.
That's
and
my DJ.
and you should be playing something that says holla.
Right, no doubt. He got you.
Yeah.
Listen, DJ Rhino is a genius, man. He got us, all right?
Yes.
This is the
All
All
right.
Politics on Local Radio Show, the number one political hip-hop radio show in America. We just had our good brother, Newark Public School Superintendent Roger Leone in the building, y'all. And also, look, let's give him a strong round of applause. For real, being our guest. All right. DJ Rhino, take it away, baby.